Hey, Shalom, guys. So, I've been trying to upload this video all last night and all this morning, and I'm just having a lot of problems. So, I'm going to try it in this way, and hopefully it works. Um, there's also a copyrighted part in this video, and I'm going to have to mute that part and, just speak over it. So, please bear with me throughout this whole thing. Hopefully, this runs smoothly. Shalom. All praises to the Heavenly Father. Apukuya. Praise be to the earthly mother, the Pachamama, and all of her earthly angels, their Kadeshua. Praise be to the Holy Spirit, the Kaheh. In the name of Hamashiach, Matzah the Lamb, unification to the nation. So, guys, I just got finished recording the same video that I'm about to do again. It was almost an hour long, so I can't wait to do to do this whole thing again. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic. I can't believe this thing didn't save. Junk phone. But whatever. We're just going to have to do this again. Now, we are going to speak on, we're speaking a lot on Asia right now. China, Asia. Reason being is because as we start to look at Egypt, we're going to run into the cities of Judah. Why? Because many of the lands of Judah were built next to Egypt, right? They have land in China. They have land in Southeast Asia. They have land in Pakistan and, Afghanistan. They have lands really all over the place. And it stretches over there, right? They have a lot of land. And you'd be surprised as to who the tribe of Judah actually are. Now, that doesn't mean, and I've said this before, the tribe of Judah look like everybody, right? They look like a bunch of different peoples because they're in different countries. They're in different regions. They're in different places. Solomon married many different women, so they're gonna all look different, right? He married a lot of women, had a ton of children. So, it's late now, man. So it shouldn't surprise anyone to see how many of these people might look. Now, we are first going to, I don't even know how I want to do this. You know what? Let's start with this video right here. This video, man, this is gonna show you a little bit about the Khmer Empire, or the empire of the tribe of Judah. Check this out. Yeah, so I was pretty much gonna say that, this kind of reminds me of Peru's Inti Raymi, their festival that they do, along with the sun, um, the sun, the quote unquote sun worship, all the gold that they're wearing, you know, it just reminds me of Peru, you know, them holding, uh, I think that's called a palanquin. If I'm wrong, I don't remember, but they just have a group of people hold that up and let the king pretty much be on top of it, right? So it definitely reminded me of that. Let's skip ahead so they don't copyright me. But everyone's a warrior. Even the women. Even the women are warriors. Kind of have a East Indian look to them. Yeah, but again, tribe of Judah, like 2/3 of them came from Elamites, or they were born out of an Elamite woman. So that does not surprise me. But look at this temple, bro. This is incredible. Who could have built this temple? Look at all that gold that they're wearing. Like, this stuff is crazy, man. that's it. Let's continue this video. Now from here on out, I'm just gonna mute my mic. So let me go do that real quick, and let me just let this video play. Look at that. Ayutthaya. You know what that sounds like? Ayuda or Judah. Now, this brother right here, who posted this video, he was pretty much pushing years ago that the Khmer Empire of Cambodia is the tribe of Judah. This dude right here, I'm not literally gonna play the video because
all my people
I really
there,
don't. I'm trying to just quickly do this video.
Whoever's listening,
but you can get a feel of how he looks,
empire,
right?
Want to speak about
if I didn't know any better, kind of looks Indian, East Indian. Could pass as a Mayan. I don't know. Kind of Japanese with the thick eyebrows, but this is how these people look, right? You know, they all come from like the same forefathers, the same pool of people, right? The ancient Maya had something to do with Solomon and the united empire of Solomon, I should say. The ancient Maya. I'm going to show you why I say that. I'm not literally going to play the video. I'm going to pretty much touch on everything that he says. So I don't need to play the video. The brother also believes that the real land is not in the Middle East, it's actually in Asia. And that's not a bad guess. You know, again, if some of the stuff fits, just not everything fits. Same thing with Africa. Some things fit, but not everything. You know, most of the stuff, not everything even fits in the Americas, but most of it fits in the Americas because that's the main land. But let me show you some pictures from a lot of these different peoples who are associated with the Israelites, just so you can get a feel of how they look, right? This is someone from Cambodia, from the tribe of Judah. Her as well. This guy as well. He looks like that dude I just showed you, right? Her as well. Her as well. Her as well. This is a Cambodian king. And you can see that he's dressed in a similar way as the other person. Dude looks a lot like my father, bro. If I show you a picture of a young version of my father, he looks just like him. It's scary. Rolling through. We're going to get to another. Now, these are the Hmong people. And when I show you their dress, it's going to be hard to argue with me. This is not about how people look. This is about a seed line. But some of it is also how they look, because there's an original look. And there's deviations from this original look. To me, bro, they kind of look like, some of them kind of resemble Black Americans, but they kind of look like Central Americans to me. Look at this young girl's dress. That is very peculiar. The tassels, that's very peculiar. All this colorful clothing, this stuff is very peculiar because this stuff is pretty much damn near synonymous with the Israelites. Damn near, right? Damn near, bro. Damn near. Now, this is a statue of the king who built this temple that I'm about to show you. I believe that might be the temple that you saw. I'm not sure. It might be another one. But you could look at how he looks, right? The face is Negro, but it's not Negroid. We are not black Africans. We are black Asians. That's who we are. That's who we were originally. But let's go, man. I have to start over, man. Oh my gosh. This is gonna suck. Let me see. Oh, you serious? My tabs got mixed up too. Ain't that something? This is a bad joke, bro. I don't like it. This is not funny. But let's start off with the Ayodhya. No. I have to go back. I have to go back to this video because someone left a good comment. So notice how you have all of these Negroes who are all, pretty much trying to discredit him, saying, "Oh, how are you an Israelite? You got to be kidding me." All these quote unquote black people, right? And that stuff like that, it annoys the hell out of me because I'm like, why are you guys so arrogant? Right? Why are you guys so arrogant? You don't necessarily look how most of the Israelites look like. You don't. He probably actually looks closer to how the Israelites looked before than you do. Whether you want to admit that or not, that's not my problem. But I don't understand why people act so arrogant. I don't get it. But anyway, I want to read this comment. Greetings. Very interesting. I must ask you, wasn't all of the African landmass referred to as Asia? I never heard of that. Never heard of that. But are there any Afro Khmers or Afro Cambodians in your country? Nigga, he is an Afro Khmer, isn't he? Does he not have an afro? What does Afro mean? Do you mean African? Because there's a difference between an African and a melanated Asian. There's two different things, bro. It's not the same thing. Also, I must ask, do Cambodians fit the curses of the law that were given to the Israelites? Now, I must ask another question. Just because, people think that Africans, all the Africans are Israelites. Why? Because they're hungry and they're bald. And I'm like, dude, the bald curse was not literally the Most High going to stop our hair growing. He stopped our hair growing in two ways: a lack of knowledge on how to grow your hair and mixing with other nations. You could say mixing with Africans. That's going to stop your hair from growing. A lot of those ancient cultures in Africa, they never had long hair to begin with. So what does that have to do with the Deuteronomy curse? No, we started having hair problems when we started mixing with other nations. But mainly, the real problem is that we've had our knowledge stripped away from us. That's why we can't grow our hair. It has nothing to do with anything else, right? Because I see wicked ass quote unquote black women can grow their hair long. So it's not about that. They have the knowledge to do it, right? And plus, I think a lot of those Deuteronomy curses, I really do think that they were centered on the so-called black Americans, on the quote unquote Lamanites. The more I was looking at Deuteronomy 28, I'm like, this fits black Americans more than it fits everyone else. This doesn't really fit everyone else. This fits a certain sect of people who were taken to these different countries. Like you could say, a certain sect of black people were taken into, let's say, China, right? But China already had Israelites in it. And that certain sect of black people, they probably suffer more than the surrounding people who may or may not be from the seed of Israel. But these people are suffering more because they were taken from the Americas because they're the descendants of Lamanites. So that's why it seems like those curses were kind of exclusive to the people of North America and those who were scattered from North America. Right? Because I don't see everyone else suffering like that. I don't see Caribbeans having hair problems like black Americans do. They do have problems, just not nearly on the same level. Not nearly on the same level. It's not even close. So that's just something to note. And any problems that they start having with their hair is because they're mimicking Black Americans, trying to wear weave and stuff like that. They weren't doing that before, right? So I have to mention that because that's just another perspective that I have. You can agree or disagree, but whatever. Anyway, also, was Buddha a military figure? Anyway, from what I've researched, Khmer was built by the Olmecs. Now, from what I understand, is that the Olmecs and Egyptians had some things in common, like hieroglyphs and buildings and priesthoods and all that. But are Olmecs Hamites? Are not Olmecs Hamites? Now, he's on a good track. He's on a good trail. But that building that he's referring to, that I'm going to get into, was not built by the Olmec. It was built by a culture that is very similar to the Olmec, that was influenced by the Olmec, but they were not the Olmec. That was built by the Maya, because the Maya are the Israelites who came from the Americas. They're listed as the Maya. Pretty much, the whole empire of the United Empire of Solomon and David, you could just say that was the Maya. Whether it was the Inca, they weren't known necessarily as the Inca. They were known as the Maya when they traveled the world. No one knows about the Inca. There's no legend about the Inca. But you know that they're of the Inca because the Inca have similar stories. Right? They have similar stories. Because they were once just one and the same. There was a split that occurred between the two, kingdoms, the northern and the southern kingdom. The Maya disappeared and went to Arzareth. The Inca stayed there, and they were taken over by the Babylonians. So let's get into this, because this person, Ara Nazi Research, is really cool that he's commenting, because he's actually made blogs that I've covered on his channel before, and he has really good research, incredibly good research. But he shared a really good book. Now, I just wanted to show you this because this is where I got the book from, so I could segue into it. So, but anyway, he talks about Ayutthaya, or Ayodhya, as the empire from the tribe of Judah, right? We're going to get into that in a second, but let's get into his book, if I can find it any damn where. I have to flip my phone. All right, let's try to get to these. As one report says, when Mahmud of Ghazna, the first Mohammedan conqueror, attacked Lahore, he found it defended by a native Hindu prince called Dawood or David. What? The single fact is enough to settle the question of the places not being named by Mohammedans. Also stated is that the ruins of the ancient cities of India, Agra, Delhi, etc., which have many of them been much larger than London, built in the oldest style of architecture in the world, the Cyclopean. And I think we must at once see this absurdity of the little Jewish mountain tribe, the lost tribes, being the founders of such a mass of cities. Now, I don't know if this person is being prejudiced or he's just trying to point out the fact that it didn't come from, this place that they're saying that it came from, somewhere else. I don't know. I can't tell, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We must also consider that we have almost all the places of India and Western Syria. No. You also have all these places in the Americas. There was in very ancient times one universal belief which was carried all over the world by immigrating tribes that were originally from India. Hold up. What was Mexico called at one point? Do you know it was called India Superior? Many scholars now accept that the natives of Kashmir, as well as those of Afghanistan, descended from the Jews. What? Giving information of their kings reigning up to the present. Along with this, they show the critique, the temple still standing, built by Solomon. Statues of Noah and other Jewish patriarchs. The descendants of the Afghans tell them that they are descendant of the tribe of Ayodhya or Yuda, Ayodhya, homeland prior to the first migration, from the time of Suri Ram. And in this they are right, for it is the tribe of Judea, noticed by Eusebius to have existed before the son of Jacob in western Syria was born. The Judea of Od, and from which the western Jews with the Brahmin Abraham descended and migrated, Od or Ayodhya. So they're pretty much saying that, during this time period that they're saying that David, built, or Solomon built these temples over there, Jacob wasn't even born in the so-called Middle East, according to their timeline. Yeah, because Jacob did not come from the Middle East. See, the more they dig, the more things don't make sense. As we abundantly show in later chapters, also, the Valley of Kashmir, on a hill close to the lake, are the ruins of a temple of Solomon. Previously to the Mohammedan conquest of India, Kashmir was celebrated for the learning of the Brahmins, and the magnificent construction of his temple. What is to be made of this? Were these Brahmins regarded as Jews, or the Jews as Brahmins? An interesting question. Mohammedans reported that it was built by Solomon in very ancient times. All this is a strong confirmation of the Jewish nature of the other names of the towns, Udaipur, Adpur, etc. So let's go to the next part. I have a lot to share with you guys. So we just read about Ayodhya, right? Ayodhya is a legendary city mentioned in the ancient Sanskrit language texts, including the Ramayana and the Mahabharat. These texts describe it as the capital of the Ikshvaku kings, including Rama. Now, this is a lot in this little 2 sentences. First of all, you got the Ramayana. Let's go to that real quick. The Ramayana is one of the 2 major Sanskrit epics of ancient India, the other being the Mahabharat. Harat. Let me make sure I'm saying that right. Mahabharat. Okay. The epic, traditionally ascribed to the Maharishi Valmiki, narrates the life of Rama, the legendary prince of Ayodhya, city in the kingdom of Kosala. So, the Ramayana is an epic about Rama, and he is supposed to be some sort of deity, some Hindu deity, right? Let's look into the Ikshvaku kings, because Ayodhya is the capital of the Ikshvaku kings. Let's look at that. In the Indian epics, the Solar dynasty or Ikshvaku dynasty. Hold up. Was founded by the legendary king Ikshvaku. The dynasty was also known as Surya Vamsa. Solar dynasty or descendants of the sun. Children of the sun. Children of the sun, bro. What does that sound like? Descendants of the sun? Sounds like the Inca. Sounds like the Maya. Sounds like the ancient Chinese. Sounds like a bunch of different people, a bunch of different places where we were. Our kingdoms came from Asia. They did not come from Africa. The Phoenicians were in Africa. The Phoenicians were partly us, but those were not necessarily our actual kingdoms. That's why I don't understand all of this ignorance and this arrogance. You know, Rama belonged to the Ikshvaku dynasty, and Krishna belonged to the Lunar dynasty. So Rama belonged to this lineage of solar kings or descendants of the sun, the children of the sun, the kings of Judah. Ayodhya is literally Ayodhya, Judah. That's what it is. Historically, this legendary city is of concern to the Ayodhya dispute. According to one theory, it is the same as the present day Ayodhya city. So they're saying that the Ayodhya city is somewhere in northern India. But according to another theory, it is a fictional city. And the present day Ayodhya, originally called Saketa, was renamed after it around the 4th or 5th century during the Gupta period. So they're saying that the city that they're calling the Ayodhya city is not the real Ayodhya city. And the real Ayodhya city is either fictional or it's somewhere else. Where do I think this is? I think that this is in Peru, right? Now, also, I should mention the fact that the Maya, the land of the Maya, the Central America, that seems to be a land where David and Solomon did a lot of their work out of, right? That's just what it seems like. So, whether it's Central America or Peru or even Utah, it came from the Americas, bro. I think Ayodhya is in the Americas, right? Now, let me see something. According to the Ramayana, Ayodhya was founded by Manu, the progenitor of mankind. So let's look up Manu. Manu is a Sanskrit term for human, means children of Manu, the progenitor of humanity. Now, who do I think Manu is? Like the earliest Manu? The earliest mention of Manu in the Rig Veda, Manu, is the only ancestor of the 5 peoples. The Indo-Aryans considered all others peoples to be a Manusa. Now, this is really interesting because when I think about all the different patriarchs who had 5 sons, I can really only think of one. I'm going to let you guys think about that for a little bit before I give you the answer, or what I believe to be the answer of who Manu is. But when I saw the name Manu, I was reminded of somewhere. You know where that is? Let's just type in Manu. Let's type it in. Peru? No, Peru can't be. What? You mean the national park that is literally next to Cusco? The city of Shem? You mean the Shem that also had 5 sons? I don't know. Probably a coincidence though, right? Probably a coincidence. Can't be real. This is fake news. Let me see. So, now that we've gone over where Ayodhya is, I think Ayodhya is actually Jerusalem, right? I think Ayodhya is Jerusalem. I think the Ikshvaku kings are the kings of Judah. The Ramayana is an epic about Rama, but then that leaves Rama, because Rama is a descendant of the Ikshvaku kings, the solar kings, the kings of Judah. Then Rama must be a prevalent person. Let's click on Rama. Rama, or Ram, also known as Rama Chandra, is a major deity in Hinduism. And this is what they said that he is. He's the ideal man, right? According to them, he was white like this. Somehow, I don't know, man. Does not make any sense, especially with what his name means. Let's find out what his name means. Rama is a Vedic Sanskrit word with two contextual meanings. There are two contextual meanings, right? In one context, as found in Atharva Veda, as stated by Monier Williams, means dark colored, or black. What? So you mean Rama was a dark-skinned man? Is that what you're telling me? And is related to the term Ratri, which means night. So he was really dark-skinned. Rama was a very dark-skinned dude. In another context, as found in other Vedic texts, the word means pleasing, delightful, charming, beautiful, or lovely. The word is sometimes used as a suffix in different Indian languages and religions, such as Pali and Buddhist texts, where Rama adds the sense of pleasing to the mind, lovely to the composite word. So it was used as a suffix, right? Now this is where I need to share something with you guys, because if you guys want to know where you come from, you have to pray. You have to pray and you have to ask the Most High. Most High led me to this after I pray. Every time I pray and I ask him where I'm from, he always shows me different things. And it's always the same answer. I'm going to tell you what my last name is. If I could find the bloody thing, man. Oh my goodness. This is a tragedy, bro. They really mixed up my tabs. Give me 1 second, guys. Here we go. So, guys, my last name is actually Rami, right? And you can also say it as Rami. But the thing is that my name is not found anywhere else, damn near on earth. So that means that, my name, it was a mispronunciation. My family must have kept this name orally, right? My forefathers must have kept this name orally. And when they were writing it down, they wrote it down incorrectly. That's what it seems like. Because I asked somebody about my name. Like, I contacted one of the churches in St. Vincent, and I asked about it. And they were like, yeah, I don't see it, right? And I'm just like, okay. And then he just told me, he's like, well, it's pretty common for, people to write down names incorrectly from how it's supposed to be spelled, right? So how it's said is how they write it down sometimes. Excuse me. Right? So let's read this. Rami, Rami is of Arabic origin. It means lovely or archer. Hold up. Lovely or archer in the Arabic, right? In a totally different language. This is not in Vedic, Sanskrit, Hebrew. This is in that same. This is in a different language. It means archer. And who was Rama? Rama was an archer. So who is Rama? We're gonna find out. Rama is a name given, sometimes a surname, which is popular among Arabs in the Levant. It is also a surname among Indians, especially Gujarati. In Arabic, Rami is derived from the verb to throw. and means archer or good marksman, literally the one who throws the arrow. Or it's derived from the Arabic verb ram, which means to wish, to aim at, to dream, to be ambitious. The Hebrew version of the name, however, is derived from the Hebrew word ram, meaning high, tall, or exalted. Though it can also be short form, it can be a short form for Rahamim or Yeremiah, Yerem, Yera, Yeremi, Yermi Yahu or Jeremiah. The Indian version of the surname is used by the Gujarati florist community. It is derived from Rama, the legendary king of Ayodhya or Judah in ancient India. Rami is also a Finnish name given abbreviated from Abraham. So who is Rama? Who is this dark, beautiful, it's weird, this dark, handsome king of Judah? Who is this man? Who is this man, Rama? The kings of Thailand, Rama. All kings of the current Chakri dynasty of Thailand are often referred to as Rama. The name was adopted from the name of the Vishnu, a Hindu god, Rama, an avatar of Vishnu. And as you can see here, that while Rama was used as a title for all kings, it was not always taken on as the name. In the present dynasty, the first king to call himself Rama was that dude. But hold on, I wanted to hold on. However, there have been several kings in the Ayutthaya and Thornbury periods who are best known by the title Rama Thibodi or Overlord Rama. The Ayodhya itself was borrowed from the name of Rama's capital in the Ramayana epic Ayodhya. Still, most of the names of the earlier kings, as given by historians, are titles rather than real names. So this is a title, right? Rama is a title, but they're representing something or someone. Who is Rama? If Ayodhya is supposed to be some sort of city of Judah or Jerusalem, I mean, we still got to keep digging, bro. We got to keep digging. Who is Rama? This is a pain, bro. Ancient man and his first civilizations. The Khmer and Cambodia. In Cambodia, the second great Khmer empire to arise after the fall of Funan was that of Angkor. This ancient Cambodian empire held power from the 9th to the 15th centuries. The city of Angkor was located in modern Cambodian province Siem Reap, which is northwest of the country which is northwest of the country. Angkor itself is a Cambodianized interpretation of the Sanskrit word Nagara, which means city. Now, I just really wanted to show you these pictures because you could tell that these are, these kings are Negroes, right? Or are they Negroid? No, you could actually tell by their eyes that they're not African. You could tell by their head shape, by their nose, that they're not African. Now, they have puffy lips, right? But they're not African blacks. They're Asian blacks. They're Asian blacks, bro. I'm going to... Listen, we'll get into these faces in a second. Look at this, man. You could even say that these faces are East African, but they don't look West African or Congolese to me. People can get mad if they want to, But just look at these faces. Now, a lot of those people, they have some sort of association with Asia. Sub-Saharan Africa, West Africa, they do. But it's a recent relation. What I'm pretty much getting at is the fact that civilization came from the Pacific. It did not come from Africa. Asia is way older than Africa. Now, I also don't necessarily get into extremes. I understand what this person is saying because they did get invaded by, a group of lighter skinned people. And these are the original peoples, right? That doesn't mean that lighter skinned people can't descend from the original peoples. And just because you have light skinned, that doesn't even mean that you're an invader. Because some of them were naturally light skinned. Some of them are light skinned because they got invaded, right? So there's a difference. The same thing here in the Americas. Some of us were naturally light skinned. Some of us got mixed in, right? Sometimes you can tell the difference, sometimes you can't. But these, as I showed the pictures before, Anyway, let's keep moving. Mayans and Balinese were twin civilizations. I've noticed it sometimes in movies that some people in Western Latin America look very similar to people in Bali, Java, and other parts of Indonesia. And I've asked myself, have Indonesians sailed over the big Pacific Ocean and reached what today is Peru and the coast of northern Chile and established colonies there? Or the opposite, have Native Indians from the west coast of Latin America built boats thousands of years ago and reached the Indonesian islands? My Indonesian wife is not that interested, but I am, right? Let's move down. And he's showing you pictures. Like, can you tell the difference between Indonesians and Chileans? Now, I can tell the difference. To me, obviously, the ones on the bottom are Chileans. The one on the top are Indonesians, right? I can tell the difference, but... So, this is something that someone wrote. The journalist Richard Casaro has seen this and also delivered a big conspiracy theory. He writes, one of the greatest archaeological riddles of our time is the quite unknown story of the parallel ruins left by two seemingly unrelated ancient civilizations. The ancient Mayan Indians on one side of the Pacific Ocean and the ancient Balinese on the other. The mysterious and unexplained similarities in their architecture, iconography, and religion are so striking and profound that the Mayans and Balinese seem to have been twin civilizations, as if children of the same parent. Yet incredibly, this mystery is not only being ignored by American scholars, it is being suppressed. Now this haplogroup O1b1, this is a very interesting haplogroup or migration pattern because of its distribution and origin. First of all, it says that it originated in China. Now that makes a lot of sense. Why? Because David, he first went to Ziklag, which is in China, right? From there, that's probably when he was able to start to conquer many of those places in Southeast Asia. And where is this haplogroup found? It's found in southern India, in the Altai Mountains, in Central Asia, in the west, and from Indonesia in the north, and from Indonesia to northern China and Japan in the east. So it's very widely distributed. But where is it mainly found? It is found among the Tibetan people, connection to the Israelites, the Hmong peoples, we had showed you with the tassels, they're also connected to the Israelites. The Taiwanese Aborigines, which also can be connected to the Israelites, and many of the populations of the Philippines. And the Philippines has a large Jacob ancestry as well, right? So it is in 42% of male lineages in Java, 40% in Vietnam, 38% in Borneo, 28% of Malaysia, and moving down, it is 59% of the Balinese male lineages. That's incredible. Now, these are studies, so I don't know how true these are, but, take it for what it's worth. Numbers are pretty high, but, take it for a grain of salt as well. But that lets me know, again, that the Balinese have some sort of association with the tribe of Judah. Now, he said that they were associated with the Maya, but the Maya, I don't know if I mentioned this, I did this video twice, but the Maya, they were just known as the Israelites, or they were the unified nation of Solomon. Once they got split, it's a different story, but at one point, all the Israelites were just known as the Maya, and they have the greatest empire known to man. It was better than Egypt. They've hidden this empire from the world. They've cut it up into pieces and threw it all over the place. But the Maya were the greatest empire in the world. Better than the Olmec. Better than the Hamites. Better than the Egyptians. Better than the Wichita. I don't care. It was better than them. Oh, my throat's hurting, bro. Pause. But let's keep going. Because we still got to figure out who Rama was. It seems like Rama was a very important figure. Did you know that Rama was an ancient city in Israel that was allotted to the tribe of Benjamin? And the tribe of Benjamin has land over there in the south, because Benjamin means sons of the south. And Benjamin was born while they were sojourning in the south over there. Benjamin is first mentioned in Joshua 8:18. I don't need to read all that. But I want to read this. When Jerusalem was destroyed by the Babylonians, those taken captive were assembled at Rama before being moved to Babylon. So I don't know if this Rama has anything to do with the king Rama of the Solar Kings, but it's just another thing to note, right? Now, let me go to this real quick. Because we went over the fact that Raja Chola I and Rajendra Chola I were actually King David and King Solomon, right? And the Cholas, they come from southern India. The Ayodhya, they have some sort of relation with, the kings of India, pretty much, which has a relation to the tribe of Judah. So pretty much a lot of these kingdoms that were set up in Southeast Asia, they came out of what is known as India, right? But is India actually Mexico or the Mayans? Or is India India? Well, it says the Vedic texts, they say it themselves that the Nagas are pretty much the Mayas. And they set up these kingdoms over there. Right? So they first settled in China, they moved down into India, and then they started scattering. Right? But what do the Chola have to do with these solar kings? What do the Chola have to do with any of this? Let's see if I can find it. Cholas descended from Rama's dynasty inscriptions. I've read an article that the first Chola king was from the solar dynasty of Ikshvaku, the ancestor of Rama. Some researchers show that the facts mentioned are correct, and they corroborate the fact that the Cholas indeed were the descendants of the solar dynasty of Lord Rama. The Cholas claim their descent from the sun and solar race of kings. Shura Vamis. Cholas worship the sun and built several sun temples. What does that sound like? Sun temples? Worship the sun? You got to be kidding me, bro. So they were related to the Chola kings, right? And the Cholas are related, they have something to do with Solomon and David, right? The Cholas have something to do with Rama. So where's this all pointing to? Now, who built Angkor Wat? That was Surya Varman II, right? Let's look into him a little bit. Surya Varman II, he was also known as Parama Vishnu Loka, and he was a Khmer king from that time period and builder of Angkor Wat, the largest religious monument in the world, which he dedicated to the Vishnu god, to the Hindu god Vishnu. So was he Surya Varman or was he Solomon? And it says that Surya Varman II sent a mission to the Chola dynasty of southern India. No, bro. Listen, the problem with this stuff, man, is that they go through so many lengths to hide our history that they have to start making up stories. He didn't send anything to the Cholas because they were the damn Cholas. They were the Cholas. They were the kings of, Ayodhya, right? We don't have to believe any of these time periods, bro. They could have been all around the same time period, and they all be the same people. They all sound like the same people, because when you read into him, he's known for his military conquest. The Surya Varman II, he's known for his military conquest. What does that sound like? So, to end this off, because my voice is done, I want to share a few more things, but I don't think I can speak anymore. But what was Rama known for again? Just to go back to this. It means dark or black colored, right? Or beautiful and delightful and charming. So this dark, handsome king of Judah, who was this man? Let's get one more before I end. Was Rama black? That's the question here, right? And we've gone over why do they paint people blue. Blue actually means dark-skinned or black. That's what they did with the woad-stained Gaelic men of ancient Western Europe as well. They painted them blue or green. They're really talking about the quote-unquote black man. Whether he's African or Asian, he's talking about the black man. While no one present on this earth today has actually seen Shri Ram, which is just another name how to say Rama, we can only guess about the color of his skin through descriptions of various scriptures. As per various versions of Shri Ram stories, he had a dark complexion. Now, no one can certainly say how dark it was. Some places it's described as dark as clouds or dark as night. However, all scriptures mention the fact that he was extremely attractive and people felt really good or happy on seeing him. A dark-skinned, handsome man. I'm going to say handsome in I'm just saying it because they say it. Whatever. You know what I mean, bro. You know what this sounds like? I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. Look not upon me because I am black, because the sun hath looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but mine own vineyard I have not kept. Now, some people, they say, oh, it's not talking about skin color. I don't know what else this is talking about. Like, maybe you guys can enlighten me. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But I just can't figure out what else this could possibly be talking about. This sounds like it's talking about his skin color. I don't know how else to, I don't know how else to flip this. So, A, black but comely. What does comely mean? Suitable or beautiful. So he is black, dusk, the idea of dark, dusk. It says dark as clouds, but handsome or beautiful. This is literally, bro, is the Ramayana the Song of Solomon? Rama is Solomon, bro. Rama is Solomon. If you didn't figure it out, Rama is Solomon. So that's pretty much what I wanted to share. I really hope that this saves, because I'm not doing this again. I'm just not. So if this don't save, it's don't save. I literally can't do it again even if I wanted to. So that's about it, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. May peace be with you. Selah Kula.